All right, enough about what YouTubers think about your tools. Let's find out what AI thinks about you and the tools you use. All right, starting with Milwaukee. Hey, AI, what do you think about the people who use Milwaukee power tools? Someone who uses Milwaukee power tools probably thinks they're the superhero of DIY, ready to tackle any project with the precision of a surgeon and the raw power of a bull. They see themselves as a master craftsman, immune to the perils of wobbly shelves and loose screws. If you dare question their choice, they might get defensive and say something like, "Oh, you prefer those other brands? How cute." I guess you don't mind getting stuck with tools that only last as long as a toddler's attention span. In their world, Milwaukee tools aren't just tools, they're a lifestyle. They've got a toolbox that looks like it belongs in an industrial warehouse, and they can't help drop casual references to torque settings and battery life in everyday conversation. They might even get a bit offended if you ask about their favorite features, as if you're questioning their taste in gourmet coffee or vintage vinyl records. To them, Milwaukee isn't just a brand, it's a badge of honor, and they're ready to defend it like a knight would his sword. All right. Well, that's one party heard from. Let's see what they've got to say about, let's go through we'll go through the sister brands here. Let's talk about Ridge and see what AI has to say. Hey, AI, what do you think about the people who use rigid power tools? Oh, someone who uses rigid power tools. Picture this. They think they're the Michelangelo of home improvement, but instead of a chisel and a hammer, they wield a circular saw with the precision of a surgeon. They probably see themselves as the chosen one, blessed with an unbreakable bond with their tools. They got that rigid logo tattooed on their psyche, and every time they walk into the hardware store, they expect the employees to bow in reverence. When they're at a party, they can't help but drop casual references to their rigid drill like it's a prized family heirloom. Oh, this? This is just a little something I use to build my custom workbench. I guess not everyone appreciates the art of flawless drilling. And heaven forbid if someone mentions another brand. They'll puff up their chest and say, well, if you want something that'll last as long as a weekend project or longer than a weekend project, maybe you should have gone with rigid. Their friends are probably just waiting for the day that they start comparing their tools to fine wines. Ah, yes, the rigid 18-volt drill. It has a robust, full-body delivery with hints of reliability and a smooth, consistent performance. Truly an exceptional tool. In their world, every day is a construction site and every project a masterpiece in progress. They may not have a chip on their shoulder. It's probably a whole lumberyard. Well, I guess AI had a lot to say about rigid. Let's see what they got to say about Ryobi. I'm kind of afraid of this one. All right, AI, what do you think about Ryobi? Oh, you mean someone who uses Ryobi power tools? Well, they probably see themselves as the humble genius of the DIY world with a dash of "I'm too smart to blow all my catch on DeWalt" swagger. They're the kind of person who's got a closet full of tools, a garage that doubles as a shrine to weekend projects. They'll tell you they appreciate Ryobi's value for the money philosophy, but really, they just enjoy the thrill of knowing that they've got the power to hang a picture frame or assemble an IKEA furniture without calling in a professional. Plus, they like to think of themselves as saving the planet one moderately effective tool at a time. Oh my gosh. All right. So that's the TTI. Okay, we're going to say we're not covering all of them. This is going to be a part one. It'll be part two, depending on how much you guys like this. We'll see if we'll do a part two. All right, let's go to the other side of the aisle. Stanley Black & Decker. Let's start at DeWalt. Hey, AI. I'm afraid to ask. What do you think of DeWalt? Someone who uses DeWalt power tools probably thinks of themselves as a construction superhero, part jack of all trades, part DIY demigod. They see every project as a chance to showcase their mastery over wood, metal, and occasionally the laws of physics. With a DeWalt tool in hand, they're convinced they're just a hammer swing away from a home renovation reality show. That's accurate. That tracks. Forget humble. They're practically walking, talking commercials for how to turn your garage into a workshop in 60 days. Not quite as verbose as on the Milwaukee stuff, but I'd say pretty spot on there. All right, well, that's their top of the line. Let's see their new middle of the line. Porter Cable power tools really aren't much of a thing anymore, but Craftsman has sure stepped into the breach. All right, AI, let's do it. What do you think of Craftsman power tools? Well, someone who uses Craftsman power tools probably sees themselves as the pinnacle of DIY excellence, a veritable titan of the toolbox. They probably believe their garage is the ultimate workshop where even the dust is impressed by their woodworking skills. In their world, every project is a masterpiece, every screw is perfectly driven, and any minor mishap is just a quirk of their genius. If you ask them, they'll tell you that only mere mortals use generic power tools. Well, they're over here with their Craftsman gear, creating craftsmanship that'll be the stuff of legends, or at least of family dinners. That was a good one. I like that. Well, we did Ryobi, so we got to do its Stanley Black & Decker cousin, Black & Decker. Oh my gosh, let's see how this one goes. AI, what do you think of Black & Decker? Well, someone who uses Black & Decker power tools might see themselves as practical and resourceful, but perhaps also as someone who struggles with feeling overlooked and underestimated. They might take pride in their ability to tackle projects with reliable, no-frills tools, yet feel a pang of sadness at the thought of their contributions or skills that might not be fully appreciated. In their quest for efficiency and reliability, they might feel like they're missing out on the recognition or respect that they deserve, which can lead to a quiet, lingering sense of undervalued despite their hard work and dedication. Oh my gosh. I'm not going to lie, that one made me feel like maybe I needed a dose of Prozac after that. I'm feeling a little depressed. Let's go to something a little bit higher end. Let's talk about the king of woodworking and cabinetry. Let's talk about Festool. Hey, hi. AI, what do you think of Festool? A professional who uses Festool power tools probably thinks of themselves as the Michelangelo of woodworking, only their chisel is a miter saw and their marble is a stack of birch plywood. They probably imagine that their mere touch turns every project into a masterpiece, all while sipping a latte and looking down their noses at mere mortals who use less refined brands. They're the kind of person who has a tool for every occasion, a meticulously organized toolbox that looks like a museum exhibit rather than a collection of power tools. In their world, if it's not Festool, it's basically a glorified paperweight. The latte was spot on, wasn't it? All right, let's see what we got next. How about Works? There's one. Let's talk about Works power tools. Someone who uses Work power tools probably thinks of themselves as the unspoken hero of DIY projects, a misunderstood genius with the divine ability to turn a flat-pack shelf into a piece of fine art. They're the type of person who considers a weekend of assembling furniture a chance to show off their manipulative precision and sawdust charisma. They probably believe their power drill is practically an extension of their arm, that any home improvement failure is due to a cosmic conspiracy rather than their own questionable skills. In their mind, they're less weekend warrior and more next-gen handyman, and the DIY messiah with an arsenal of tools that could rival any superhero's utility belt. Well, I had to say, considering all the accessories Works has, that last part that one works there, pun intended. All right, we can't leave out Harbor Freight. Let's see what you got to say here. AI, what do you think about Hercules power tools? Someone using Hercules power tools probably sees themselves as a combination of a DIY demigod and a lumberjack with a PhD and I've got this. They're the type who reads the instructions, but only to use them as a coaster for their coffee. In their world, a drill bit isn't just a tool, it's a wand of creation that will single-handedly save the day. If they could, they'd probably have Hercules embroidered on their tool belt, and they definitely think their garage is a shrine to craftsmanship rather than the chaotic mess of half-finished projects. Oh, that last one? Yeah, we're not gonna talk about that last. That hits a little too close to home. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. All right, AI, what do you got to say about Bauer? Someone wielding Bauer power tools. They probably think they're the love child of a Swiss Army knife and a NASCAR pit crew. They envision themselves as DIY demigods effortlessly conquering home improvement projects with the same ease that they sip their artisanal coffee. When they talk about Bauer tools, it's with a reverence usually reserved for rare antiques or their firstborn. They probably see themselves as the modern day Hercules, except instead of slaying mythical beasts, they're vanquishing rusty screws and creaky cabinets. Who needs a professional when you have Bauer, they might say, as if the brand itself could solve world peace or at least make their garage look like an episode of This Old House. Wow, that was... I kind of feel like AI was kind of mixing the two metaphors there with the two brands over at Harbor Freight, but either way, it paints a pretty picture. So that's part one. If you like what we did, it's just kind of a fun Friday here, taking it easy, having some fun with it. Anyway, let me know what you thought the best one was. Put it down in the comments below, and also let me know what ones you think I left out and we should do if we do a part two. Anyway, while you're down there, don't forget to chomp the old like button, smash that subscribe, ring the bell on the way out. You all take care, God bless, and as always, shine on.